Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another fabulous edition of the Celebrity Creator Show. Kathy, how are you doing tonight?
Brian, I am doing awesome and as excited as you are about our guest tonight.
Oh my goodness, speaking of our guest, we have royalty in our midst because what I hear, she's actually a queen. But before we go into introducing this fine young lady that's going to be our guest, I'm going to introduce you to yet another fine young lady over here to my left. This would be Kathy Stover. She is my business partner, my very dear friend, and because of that, you can't have her as your business partner. She's mine because I'll tell you why. She has an absolute wealth of experience when it comes to business and marketing. It's just overflowing. She has over 25 years experience as an operations manager and sales manager at a Fortune 500 company, and that's just scratching the surface. Just we're not even close to all the accolades and background that this young lady brings with her to the table of the celebrity creators.
He said young.
That's right. I'm not dumb. Now, her corporate career ended 6 years ago as she retired by choice, and she decided to pursue her passion by enlisting her over 20 years experience as an internet and network marketing entrepreneur to work from home. We have a lot in common in this area, which is pretty awesome. That's another reason we are partners, and you can have her. She's been an extremely successful affiliate marketer. Notice the word marketer throughout. Marketer, marketer, marketer. With experience dating back to the early 90s, also very successful in network marketing, that's in fact where we met in a long, a hallway long ago. It's a different story for a different time, as we always say. But she was very, very good at what she did in network marketing, going up on the stage, getting accolades in front of literally hundreds of people. Over and over again, she's just incredible at sales. In fact, I like to say she can sell almost anything to almost anyone. And it's true. It's absolutely true. Kathy is also an author and also has experience as a professional speaker. And most recently, she has become a highly successful social media strategist. Now, do you see why she's my partner, not yours? You're starting to get the idea. Okay. She also holds designations as a power seller and a top-rated seller on eBay. My goodness, I could go on and on and on, but we do have a guest to bring on tonight, so I'm going to stop just about there and say, yeah, I'll stop there. And say, with that, I'd like to welcome my dear friend and co-creator of this very show right here, Kathy Stover. Yay!
Oh, Brian, thank you so much for all of that. Always way over the top. And I'm going to tell everybody that is joining us for the first time new tonight, along with our special guest, but for those of you that have heard me talk about Brian before, you're going to have to bear with me. This is a man of character and integrity, a man that has so much talent, and that talent with engineering comes from over 24 years of software engineering experience. So all of the beautiful graphics and how you see our program put together is due to all of his phenomenal efforts. In fact, he's always like plugging in and connecting new gadgets to our page. So with that, I just want to throw in a plug. Today, he added the little like button, and there's a thumb, and it says share. So by all means, while you're here, go ahead and click on that baby and join us on Celebrity Creators Facebook page if you're not there. But Brian also is not only the co-creator and the co-host of the Celebrity Creators Show, he too is a professional speaker. He is authoring a book at this very moment. He, in addition, talking about me being adept at network marketing, he is too, and he's exactly right. That's where we met 4 years ago. So he is also very adept at sales as well. And when you talk about marketing, he has put together some phenomenal social media campaigns with Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Google Plus, and does a lot of things there too. So don't let him make it look like that's my total thing and that he doesn't know any of that stuff, because he is very adept at it as well. And I just want to tell you, I enjoy co-hosting this show with Brian every week. And without further ado, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Well, my goodness, yeah, we're always at this doing, that was nice. Very, very nice. Thank you very much. Well, that's our show tonight, everybody. We love to thank you for, no, I'm just kidding, just kidding. We have a fantastic guest lined up. As I mentioned, we have royalty in our midst. We are talking about Angie Jenkins, the credit score queen. In 2004, with very little guidance and no experience, it took Angie only 9 months to rebound from a home foreclosure and bankruptcy following a job loss. Ouch. She went from having damaged credit to having high FICO scores on all 3 credit reports. With hard work and determination, she succeeded in regaining control of her financial future. She has used her experience to help family, friends, and colleagues rebuild their credit and increase their FICO scores. Today, she is dedicated to helping others, thank you very much, Angie, who have experienced financial difficulties and challenges in obtaining higher FICO scores to reach their goals. 25 Ways to Increase Your FICO Credit Scores to 750 is her first ebook, offering practical, proven advice that's quick, simple, and easy for readers to digest. Please join us in welcoming to the Celebrity Creator Show the credit score queen herself, Angie Jenkins. Angie, welcome to the show.
Angie, welcome.
Hey. How are you?
We're doing fantastic.
Hey, Kathy and Brian.
We are doing awesome. We are so excited to have you tonight.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. We just had the pleasure of meeting you not too long ago from a mutual friend of ours, Donna Lang. Coach Donna, as she's on the chat tonight. And by the way, she popped in there. Is anybody else having any sound problems? I don't know that we're having sound problems, do you, Brian? But she said she was getting some repetition there. But hopefully that's squared away. And we can get started with our special guest here. So, you know, the exciting thing is we're going to be, you know, and this is kind of crazy to say we're excited to be talking about credit, but unfortunately, with the state of our economy, a lot of people have had to deal with credit issues. Like with what happened with you, a job loss, many people have lost their jobs, or they're in between jobs. It's kind of a temporary situation, but it puts us in a situation that we can't pay our bills in a timely manner, and unfortunately, some of the things happen as they do. But how does somebody deal with bad credit issues if it ends up on their plate?
Well, I'll take my experience. When bad credit comes to your plate, first you want to find out what it is that got you in the situation you're in. And for me, it was income or lack of income. So I knew right away I needed to get a job. And then after I got a job or some income, and then I went ahead and tackled my credit issues. But so you really want to find out what it is. What's making your credit challenging, I guess. That's the word I'll use tonight.
Okay.
Now that's what, you know, we have a lot of people that are in a bind right now, and it's unfortunate, as Kathy alluded to, that this is actually perfect timing, by the way, for your show to come on and to talk about this very topic. What kind of, let's say, what key piece of advice would you give to, say, other business owners when it comes to credit issues?
Business owners, the key piece of advice I would give them is to stay on top of their credit, their personal credit, because their personal credit is going to be different from their business credit, but your personal credit has to be stellar in order to get business credit. So they want to stay on top of their personal credit and keeping those credit scores up, keeping derogatory items off of their credit reports.
Well, you know, so that, I don't want to say that sounds easy, but what happens if you lose your job and you just absolutely can't pay? I mean, is there something that you should do, or how do you handle that so that you're covered in an instance like that, so that you protect that personal part so that you can continue with your business operation?
Well, if you cannot pay bills, you just cannot pay bills. And that's where I was. It was the lack of income. So I did not have the income to meet the monthly expenses. So there was nothing that I could do about it except to get some income. But then after I did get a job, I immediately got on top of learning and self-educating so that my credit scores can start increasing and my credit could get, just improve my credit. So I just got on top of it, and that's what you have to do, because bottom line, reality, if you don't have the money, you just don't have the money.
Yeah.
So then your priority should be getting some income, and then secondly, working on that credit once you get the income. It just won't work any other way.
It was like my grandmother used to say, you can't get blood from a turnip, right?
Right. So yeah, how do you pay your bills if you don't have the money?
If you just don't have it. But are there laws that are governing how credit or credit repair can be handled? I see stuff, Angie, on TV all the time. It's like, call this and get your credit reduced, and call that and get it wiped out, and that kind of stuff. How obviously you are in place. What a godsend to so many people, so that you can help lead people through this process. But are there laws governing so you don't get sucked into some of these people like you see on TV?
Yes, it is. The Credit Repair Organizations Act, and it's governed by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and then under there also is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. But the CROA, Credit Repair Organizations Act, there is a law out there for credit repair. And what you hear, Kathy, or what you just explained is totally against the law about changing your identity. We can do this, we can do that. All of that stuff is against the law. And if someone would, if they go to the FTC's website and look up Credit Repair Organizations Act, they'll find what it is that a credit repair company cannot do. And a lot of things that they are doing or claim to do is illegal. But a lot of us don't go and do our due diligence to find that out. We usually get suckered in, and then we find out it's a scam, and we pay the money. So yeah, definitely want to go to the Fair Credit Reporting Act's website, or the FTC, ftc.gov, and then look up CROA, or Credit Repair Organization Act.
Excellent information. Hey, before we go any farther, I wanted to point out to our listeners, our watchers, our viewers, whoever you might be out there, that you can get connected directly with Angie Jenkins by going to her fan page. All you got to do, it's really simple, but don't do it right now, because it would be very rude for you to leave us. But there is a picture of Angie beneath us as we're recording this live, and the recorded version will end up on top if you're watching this after the fact, after our live show is over. Click right on her nose. You'll see Angie on that stoic picture. Click on her nose. That'll take you to her Facebook page, and be sure to like her there. She has also told us before the show even began that she has a special surprise for everyone. Some of you watching already know what you're waiting for. Others that don't know, you want to stick around and find out what it is the others are waiting for, because you'll have the opportunity to participate in the very same thing. We're being very secretive. I know that's kind of mean, but it's fun. Anyway.
But it's exciting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really curious, Angie. I'm sure you've had a lot of questions come across. I can think of a bunch myself, but what would you say is the one customer or one question your customers ask the most often? And more importantly, based on that question, how do you answer them?
Okay. I get the question a lot. Do you do credit repair?
Wow.
That's the main question I get, or the number one question I get. And the answer is no, I don't do credit repair. And credit repair is the letters, the dispute letters. I don't do that. What I do, though, is personal credit strategy. I use several strategies to increase my credit scores. And I'll tell you how those strategies actually work. I still had a foreclosure and a bankruptcy appearing on my credit reports, but my credit scores were in the high 700s. So I was using strategies to increase those credit scores. What the credit repair would do would be to remove the foreclosure and the bankruptcy. So before they were even removed, my credit scores were as if I never filed bankruptcy or had a foreclosure. So those are the types of strategies that I use and share with people, and then educate them on credit as well, so that they'll know what strategies to use based on their situation.
Fantastic.
Well, I think that's very important and valuable, because I can only imagine if you're in that situation, the stress that you're dealing with, and trying to figure out, you were talking about finding a way to get money. So maybe you're thinking about selling things. Just, I mean, I can't even imagine all that it would entail at that very moment. So to have somebody like you to be able to strategize with and plan and be able to put things in perfect order so that they can get through that situation seamlessly, and hopefully dampen their or put a lid on the stress level is just phenomenal. So what a blessing, Angie, to have somebody like you out there doing what you do.
Thanks.
So with that being said, how important would you say that it is to keep an open communication with your creditors?
It's very important. When I was in my situation, as long as I could go, I kept an open communication with all of them, because of course, first you want to pay those bills that are actually hitting your credit report. You want to pay those first, as long as you can, and then then you want to pay those bills that are not hitting your credit report. And usually those are like your utilities, your cell phone, things like that. Those aren't on your credit report. However, they will hit your credit report when you're late. So you want to stay on top of those creditors and communicate with them and let them know what you can and what you cannot do. And then sometimes they even have payment plans that they can work out with you. They can even change the due dates and help you out. So definitely want to stay on top of your communication.
Yeah, it brings to mind, I actually had an issue, and it just came to my mind that I actually accidentally paid off a credit card in full, and that took everything from my account. This was online payment. I clicked the wrong radio button, or actually it was set by default to pay it all off, and I got distracted, whatever. I paid dearly for that, because I asked for that back. They did grant it, but now they've virtually locked me out from using that card online, and it was horrendous. And that was just from an honest mistake, and only happened one time. I've had great issues with them, so you have to be very careful every step of the way. It's almost sad with the interest rates they're charging already, that they also decide to up the interest rate and lock me out from online banking. So just be very careful and keep in communication with them, and let them know. I mean, as soon as I found that out, luckily I called them right away, and it could have been much, much worse had I not done so. So it was, wow. I can relate to that one.
No, I got to tell you, I don't think at any time would that be the job to have, be one of the credit collections people. But can you imagine now with the state of our economy? I mean, they probably never get a yes, I'm going to pay, right? I mean, that could be the worst job in the world right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they're very busy and very well employed.
It is. I wouldn't want to be on.
Goodness. So it sounds like...
Yeah, maybe that's the place people should look for a job.
Yeah.
Right.
And you were probably on the receiving end of this quite a bit, Angie, as you mentioned that this happened to you, where you went into financial... where no one wants to go, into a place no one wants to go. And I'm sure you got called from many creditors over and over. What can a person do to alleviate that constant calling of the creditors that are constantly after you to get you to pay up?
Ooh, there's quite a few things you can do. But immediately when I realized I could not keep up with paying the bills, that's when I filed bankruptcy. It was just a decision that I had to make. So as soon as I filed bankruptcy, there is an automatic stay that goes into place, and that's when the collection calls stop. They stop immediately as soon as you file the bankruptcy, and then that automatic stay is in place. So I didn't have to go through that those phone calls for a long time at all. That bankruptcy stopped it. I could say that's the one thing that I liked about filing bankruptcy. It stops the phone calls, that's for sure.
Well, so like, isn't there different types of bankruptcy though?
It is, yes. Now, I filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. There is also a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and then a Chapter 11 for business owners. And the Chapter 7 is the one where you just include every single thing in the bankruptcy, and everything then later on is discharged. So you're starting all over. The Chapter 13 is sometimes people own a home and they want to save their home, or they want to stay in their home, or a car. They do a Chapter 13, and that's when they work out with their creditors a payment plan on making those payments with their home, with their car, or sometimes credit cards as well. But they're in that Chapter 13 for approximately, sometimes it's 5 years, anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and they're locked in. They can't file for any new credit, and whatever they do with regard to credit, they have to get permission from the trustee. So I didn't go that route. I just threw everything in the Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and I just started over. Wow. And then Chapter 11 is the business owner, and that's a restructuring of their bills when they do a Chapter 11. And we always hear that Donald Trump is filing bankruptcy. Well, what he's doing is he's doing a restructuring of his debt, his bills. But you see, he never goes out of business. He's just restructuring to get things right. That's all he's doing.
Wow. So I'd always came to understand that when he filed bankruptcy, that it was like a 7-year sentence, if you will, of bad credit. So that sounds like it's not the case, especially with a Chapter 7.
No, it's not.
Interesting.
It's not at all. At first I thought that, but no, it's really about the education, the part that I taught myself. Now I feel really, really confident if I ever get in that situation again, you know, and it happens. Life just happens. Yeah. And now I'm confident that I'll rebound really quickly again, because it's all about what you know. You know how they say what you don't know will hurt you, and really it's so true. What you don't know will hurt you. So it's all about learning, getting the education, and then putting those strategies in place to jumpstart your credit scores.
Well, we've got a couple of questions from some of our viewers, and one of them is how often does your credit say that fast? I was going to say credit score. Does your credit score change?
Your credit score, you will see your credit score change anywhere from 30 to 60 days. And that all depends on the different actions you are taking to make the credit scores change. So for instance, if you have a credit card that has a $1,000 limit, and you charge up to $900, you're going to see your credit score drop. If you pay that credit card off, you'll see it increase. And you'll see these changes anywhere from 30 to 60 days, because it doesn't take long. It's a cycle that, of course, has to go through your creditor first, and then your creditor reports it to the bureau, and then you see the change. And you only see the change if you request your credit scores. So it's often. So if you're doing things, you'll definitely see it going up and down.
What about, here's another one that someone's asking. This is a great question. What are your thoughts on, or do you recommend using those credit monitoring programs? I've received stuff like that in the mail. It's like $49 a month or something, and they'll monitor your credit and ding your email if something's going on. What are your thoughts on those?
I highly recommend them. But however, I only recommend when you are monitoring all 3 reports.
Oh, okay.
When my credit scores got into the high 700s, I started monitoring them because now I'm a candidate for identity theft. I have good credit. So I wanted to monitor all three reports. I know a lot of the credit monitoring services, they only monitor one report, and that's not going to be of any benefit to you. So if you were a target of identity theft on your Equifax report, you're only monitoring Experian, you would never know. So you want to monitor all three. And then of course they'll send you the email or the text message, however you set it up. You'll get an alert whenever your credit has been pulled, so to speak. And now that I'm monitoring my credit, even when I go to apply for credit, they're telling me that I am applying for credit, and that's great. It's supposed to work that way. So I love them. I highly recommend them.
Interesting. Well, I sure appreciate hearing that, don't you, Brian?
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking that they were like kind of the thing not to do because
No,
I envisioned it like, oh great, here we go. Here's somebody else that wants to get a buck from you, right?
No, it's a proactive measure. That's exactly what it is. So you want to stay on top of your credit.
Interesting.
Before anything happens. So yeah, I'd highly recommend them.
So let me ask you on this. Are credit issues handled different from a business to, say, personal? And if you are a business owner and you're having money problems on both sides, personal and business, do you handle them separately, or are they are they handled together? How does that work?
Now, it depends on how you have the business credit. If you have the business credit and you are the personal guarantor on your business credit, then it's handled all the same way. They'll come after the business first, and then if they can't get their money or bills that you owe from the business, they'll come after the person, which is usually the owner, the business owner. And then it's all your personal credit. So it depends on how you have your business credit set up.
Okay. Awesome.
Once again, for everyone that's watching, we want to remind you that you can click right on Angie's nose, not this one that's moving right beneath myself and Kathy, the one that's sitting there stoically, with that nice pose. But don't do it right now because that will take you away from our show. Wait till the show's over. Click on her nose and connect with her on Facebook. So click on her nose, click the like button, and you'll see some magic happen. Be sure to stay with us to the very end of this show because Angie has quite a special surprise. So again, some of you know what it is, others of you don't, and for all of you, I know you can't wait to hear what surprise she has in store. Angie, let's step back a second. We've heard through what you've said that you've been through this horrible ordeal on your own. You've pulled up by the bootstraps, and good on you for doing that, and just became educated and took care of business, so to speak, and got yourself out of credit issues. Why did you start your business as the credit score queen?
I started my business as the credit score queen because there were a lot of credit repair companies out there that were not, and they don't, that's not their job. They don't provide the education towards credit. And after you have, a clean credit report after having credit repair, you still take the same actions. You don't know exactly what caused your credit scores to be low. So you still do the same thing, or you're not doing things that will increase your credit scores. So there's no education involved whatsoever. And then the strategies aren't there. You have to actually learn about credit in order to know the personal credit strategies to increase your credit score. So no one's out there that I know of that are providing credit strategies. Everyone's doing credit repair. And credit repair, it takes long, that's for sure, because they're disputing. But the credit strategies, when you get on top of those credit strategies, you can increase those credit scores really quickly. like I did. I mean, I had the worst two derogatories showing up, a foreclosure and a bankruptcy, and in 9 months,
Wow.
I was recovered. And yeah, people can do that quicker than credit repair will do. But then on the other hand, if you're doing them simultaneously, oh, that's a real beauty. So that's how I started my business. No one's out there doing that, and I want it to be unique.
Very good.
Well, I would say that's certainly unique. It's not something that I can say that I've sought out, but in just doing a little bit of investigative work prior to you coming on the show, I certainly don't see anybody else out there doing what you're offering. We do have a couple of questions, and it kind of fits in with some of our viewers, and one is, how many trade lines are needed in order to have a credit score?
One, just one, and it has to be able to report within the last 6 months. So if you have a credit card and it starts showing up, you'll get a credit score. I have had one person did not have a credit score at all. She paid off all her bills, and it had been a while before she did anything with regard to credit, and just no credit score whatsoever. She did not have any credit. So she was starting from scratch. So it only takes 6 months, and one line is all it'll take.
That's amazing. And now I don't know if you want to give this away, because obviously you do this as a service, and if you don't want to answer, that's okay, but an individual is asking, what is your #1 strategy when it comes to credit, to your credit score?
I have so many strategies, and it depends on your situation. It really does depend on your situation. I'll give one of the strategies, actually, that I used and I'm using now. I know I hear a lot of people say, don't exceed 50% of your credit limits on your credit cards. And example is, if you have a credit card that's $1,000 limit, don't exceed 50%. Well, I've always said 25%. You should not go higher than $250 on that credit card. Going any higher than that will start decreasing your credit scores. And if you have multiple credit cards, say for instance 3 credit cards, and you have $1,000 limit on all 3, that's $3,000 total credit limits that you have, and you don't want to exceed 25% of the total credit.
Wow.
So, and that's what, $750. My math is not good. So $750 you don't want to exceed on the total of $3,000. If you do, start paying it down to see those credit scores start to increasing again.
That's amazing.
I definitely had to, yeah. You definitely have to be disciplined.
I mean, did you know that, Brian? I've never heard that before.
No clue. I heard stuff like if you pay off a credit card, to do not cancel the account, because I heard that would reflect badly on your credit score as well. Is that true?
That's so true, Brian. That same scenario, the 3 credit cards, let's say with $3,000, your total credit limits, as soon as you close one of those, you have just lowered your available credit. You only have $2,000 worth of credit now. But let's say you have $250 charged on both of them. You've increased your utilization, and you've decreased your availability. So that is going to sink your credit scores. So no, you definitely don't want to close credit cards.
I love this show. We learned so daggone much. I had no idea about any of this.
We've got somebody else asking a question. They're saying, so does this same strategy apply and work with loans?
It depends. Well, loans are kind of different. Credit cards
are installment. Yes, on an installment type loan.
Yeah. No, it doesn't work with installment loans. It works really well with revolving credit, which are credit cards. Installment loans are going to be, you know, your mortgage, your auto payment, or say a school loan, something like that, where the payment every month is the same. You're paying something down. So no, it doesn't work with installment loans. It works super well with revolving accounts.
So Brian, if you paid off any credit cards recently, you can go get one and charge up to $250.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you know, I'll go tell my no, I won't tell my wife that. That'll be bad.
No, don't tell her that.
What if
You know, I have to say this. When I was early married, you know, of course, times have changed. That wasn't quite back when the wagon trains were coming through, but it was a long time ago.
Okay.
And I've got to tell you, I think just because of the economy over the past 18 months, it certainly seems like times have changed when it comes to credit, but it's more and more important to make sure that our credit remains good, because that is so connected to us. When I was younger and, you know, I couldn't pay a bill back in my 20s, they hounded the heck out of you, and, you know, if you paid it, you paid it, and it was a different time. And now it is just so attached to who we are. The importance of having somebody in your position that can strategize, you know, an end result is so, so important.
It really is. And now with the new economy, as I call it, the banks, the restrictions and the requirements are so much tougher in getting anything nowadays. So the credit score has to be extremely high. And what I'm finding now, when I first started this, you know, paying attention to credit scores, it used to be 620. You could buy a house with a 620 credit score. Then it went up to maybe 680, and then 700, and then just last year was 750. Now it's 760. 760 seems to be the magic number for 2011. Who knows what it'll be for 2012? It'll probably go up even higher. But right now it's 760. It's like the magic number, and you can get a lot with 760. Low interest rates, insurance, auto insurance, homeowners insurance. I mean, they look at all of that when it comes to your credit.
Wow.
You know, one of our viewers, Gene, is saying, how do we go from 700 to 800? He says he knows a few people with 800, or a few people over 800. So what's your remark on that?
And that is all about your situation, what you have going on. I'll tell you right now, that is my goal. I'm working toward 800 myself. I'm at 781. So I'm 19 points away from 800. And I know exactly what to do to get to 800. There is a simulation that you can do without even spending any money. If you would go to myfico.com and order one of your credit scores, right now we only can get 2. Experian stopped selling consumer credit scores 2 years ago. But if you would go to myfico.com and order one of your credit scores, there's a simulation tool. And when you enter in all of your information, MyFICO then takes all of that information into account, so it knows what credit card you have on file, I guess, so to speak. And you can play with it. And you can say, I want to pay down my Visa card, I want to pay it down $500. And if you do this, it will give you a simulation as to how high your credit scores will go up. And then if you say, I want to pay down my Visa in 12 months, and I want to pay $100 a month, it'll tell you how long it'll take, how slowly your credit scores will go up, so you can speed it up. You can do this without paying any money. So now you have a plan to get to 800 or 850 by going to myfico.com, just ordering one of your credit scores, and they're $20. they've gone up. It seems like everything goes up.
Mhm.
But if you order just one and then get that file set up, you get a profile set up, then you can go in there every 30 days. You'll end up having to pay, and that's because our credit scores change, our reports change every 30 days. But if you go in there and play with it for 30 days after you set that profile up, you'll know just what to do to get your credit scores in that 800 or up to 850.
That almost sounds like a game.
It's actually, it is. It's fun. You like, wow, I can do this, and then my credit scores will get here. Oh man! And that's what I did, and I was able to get to 781. So
Wow.
now I know what to do to get to 800. So it is. It's really fun.
Hey, Brian, we're going to have to go to myfico.com so we can check out and see what our credit looks like.
Well, I'm almost
Yeah.
afraid to. That
What was
25
that?
that 25% limit has me spooked. I'm afraid to go there.
Well, you know, somebody else asked a great question as well. They said, how long does a collection affect your credit score unpaid?
A collection period affects your credit score if it's paid or not. And that's
Ooh.
simply because it's a collection. So you want to avoid having a collection on your report at all. And I get that question a lot.
Wow.
So, I mean, if it's there, there's nothing you can do, correct? Doesn't it stay for a certain period of time, or?
It does stay for a certain period of time. I think collections they're a long time. I want to say 7 years, but I'm not sure on collections.
Wow.
Mhm.
But that is what the credit repair companies do. And I should say the legitimate ones, they will dispute that collection, and eventually it will be removed. I like credit repair when it's legal and when it's not a scam. Like I said, it works simultaneously. You can have them going together with the strategies and the repair. And my goodness, your credit scores will just soar when you work them together. So yeah, if you're working on your credit with the strategies, then you want to have the credit repair company work on removing that collection. And now your credit scores will start moving up.
Awesome. Somebody chimed in and said 7 years, and somebody else said that you're very knowledgeable. Angie, you're great and very knowledgeable, and whoever this is, they're absolutely right. We're just, Brian and I know I can see, we are just getting so much out of this, and it's so awesome having such a variety of special guests that we do each week that brings so much knowledge, not only to the two of us, but to our viewers as well. So right on. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm curious, you know, anyone that's in this position as you were once, Angie, you're already strapped financially and you need help. Now you go to somebody for help, and they obviously are going to want you to pay them. How do you handle something like that when you don't have the money to pay somebody to help you to get out of the thing? It's like a never-ending cycle. You don't have the money to pay to get out of it, but you don't have the money to pay anybody back. How does that?
Right. I hear you, Brian. Well, in my situation, remember, I lost my job, and so my first priority was getting a job. I needed some income badly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I filed bankruptcy, and the foreclosure happened, and now I got a job. I did get a job, and it turned out to be right in the same month that the bankruptcy was discharging. So your bankruptcy is going to be for 3 months. That automatic stay is 3 months. You can't do anything at that time. The best part about that is it keeps the creditors away.
Yeah.
But after the discharge, I had a job. So now I have the job is when I started working on my strategies and getting those together. And then that's when I hired a credit restoration attorney. So this attorney knew all about credit. That was his expertise. It was credit. So I knew I wasn't getting scammed or shammed since I went to an attorney that had this expertise under his belt. And he happened to be only $49 a month.
Wow.
And he disputed, he disputed quite a bit of things. Of course, it took some time. And with the credit repair or the credit restoration, you have to be patient. it does not happen overnight. So those credit strategies, they work faster than the credit repair does. So you're kind of, I guess, overriding whatever you do. Those strategies are overriding that those derogatory marks that are on your credit report. Like I said, I had the bankruptcy and a foreclosure reporting, but and my scores were higher than someone that never filed bankruptcy.
Wow.
Or had a foreclosure. And that was all because of strategy. The credit repair company hadn't gotten to that yet. It hadn't been removed yet. But I'm still working with them so that they can get that stuff off.
Wow. Wow.
So I wanted to know, I love your name, Credit Score Queen. So that's your business name, right? So
It is.
what is the significant meaning to Credit Score Queen?
Well, the significance is people started calling me different things. I was called Credit Maven, Credit Lady, Credit something, everything. So I looked around and I said, you know what? Everybody that is an expert in what they do, they're either the king or the queen. And then it matched, it worked really well with money. I knew that money, or, you know, having money or cash was king. I said, well, shucks, good credit is queen. So I am the credit score queen.
Love it. Love it. It's very catchy,
That was a
too.
perfect fit.
Yeah,
Mm.
very catchy. Here, we already got it on the website. I was going to put up an image, but they can all see. You can see her image with the crown, and I love your logo. And wow,
Thanks.
we have learned so much. This has been absolutely wonderful. Like I said before, I love this show, and it's ours, but I love it because we learn so
I do
much every
too.
week.
Nice, it's fun.
I want to ask you
Have
one
lots of
that's
fun.
probably an obvious answer to it, but it'll be fun anyway to address it. Angie, what would you say separates your business from the competition?
Well, Brian, I don't think I have any competition. No one is providing strategies. Credit strategies, no one is. Everyone is providing credit repair, but not strategy and education, actually how credit works. So if, like I said, a person has that credit repair going on and that's all they're doing, and let's say they fall into a funk again, you know, a job layoff again, illness, a divorce. Well, that credit report is clean from that credit repair, but they don't know how to keep it clean. So that's what I provide, and that's where I'm different. I'm giving you that education and then those strategies to get those credit scores up there.
That's, again, that's pretty darn stellar. And we just had somebody else ask a very interesting question. Outside of you achieving your credit score of 800 or 800 plus, what's next for Angie?
Ooh, I want to, well, I actually am. I'm working on starting an 800 club. Right now, I am training different people, educating them on credit and providing credit strategies. So as we provide these strategies, then everyone's credit scores are going to go up. We can do quite a bit with a group of people with 800 credit scores. So I'm working on getting a 800 club.
So that's not 800 numbers. That's not like 1-800. That's like 800 credit score, right?
Yeah, 800 credit scores. Your credit scores are at 800. So yeah, I'm putting together a program now for people with 800 credit scores, and you know they'll get in the club, and then we'll do all kinds of things that people can do with 800 credit scores.
Excellent.
Awesome. You know, it's like I'm serious. I'm all of a sudden I'm kind of feeling shame on me. I don't know, Brian, maybe you know what yours is. I haven't put anything on credit, like gone out and purchased anything on credit for a long time. So I don't have a clue to what my credit score is. So my best bet to find out what that is, I'm guessing I should know, would be to go to the MyFICO, or is that kind of the place to go play to strategize on increasing your credit or how you can fix it? What if I want to just go see what it is? Where do I go and how do I find that?
You want to go to MyFICO also.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Yeah, you want to get your real FICO scores. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, they all sell their credit scores. MyFICO is Fair Isaac, and they are the ones who invented the Fair credit, not the Fair Credit Reporting Act, I'm sorry. They've invented the Fair Isaac, the credit scoring model. And all the lenders use FICO scores. So if you pull your Equifax score, it's the Beacon score, and it's proprietary to Equifax. So the lender is not pulling your Equifax score, they're pulling your Equifax FICO score. So you want to know your real score, and that's where you're going to start. That Equifax FICO score is, it'll be off, and you don't know where you're going to be. So say, for instance, you're only pulling that Equifax score, and you go to buy a car, and the car dealer says you need a 700 credit score to get approved for this auto loan. You think you have a 700 credit score because you pulled Equifax.
Right.
Well, the lender pulled FICO, and you don't have a 700 credit score. Your real score is whatever FICO says your score is. So that's where you need to pull your scores from MyFICO, Fair Isaac.
Awesome. I had no idea. Now, does that cost, Angie?
It does cost. It does cost. Real credit scores cost. And I think the credit bureaus are charging for their scores, but they're fake. So might as well pay for what's real. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Somebody's asking, how long did it take you to get to 700? And let's see, how long has Angie been in the 700s? And how long does she expect it to take to get to 800?
I've been in the 700s since 2006. And now I'm in the high 700s, 781. And I know what it is that I need to do to get to 800. I just haven't done it. So, but when I do, it will not take long at all. As a matter of fact, I will see the difference in 30 to 60 days. And I can also say that I just recently went from 765 to 781. And that was a strategy that I used, and that only took 30 days. I saw the difference in 30 days. And so it does not take long at all. I just have to implement. That's it.
Well, you're too busy helping everybody else fix theirs. That's what it is. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do all of it.
Right. Right.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't know about you, Brian, but I think tomorrow morning, I might even do it tonight. I'm going to go in there because I want to know what the heck my credit score is. You know what? This just came to me. So I'm married, right?
Okay.
Do I have to do one for me and one for him, or do we do one because we're married?
No, that's the one thing that we don't have jointly when we're married, our credit scores. You have yours and your husband has his. And your credit scores are based on your Social Security number. You have a file every time you use your Social Security number to apply for credit. So everyone in the United States has a credit file. Some people just don't have credit scores in their credit file.
Wow, great question. Thank you for asking that, Kathy. That's another. Yeah. I love this show. Did I ever say that? I love this show.
So. Absolutely. Well, what book, website, blog, any kind of information besides your own, would you recommend to small business owners or some of the entrepreneurs that we often have each week on our viewer panel?
With regard to credit, I really like the myfico.com website. I like that website. I also like credit.com. That's another good website. The president, I think he used to be the president over at myfico, is over at credit.com. And I forget his name, but he's very, very good when it comes to giving credit information. They have a great blog over there at credit.com. And so those are my two favorites when it comes to credit scores. I love those two.
Okay. Somebody just asked a great question.
Okay.
They're saying, can an employer pull your credit without your consent?
No, they cannot pull your credit without your consent. But this is how they suck you in to pull it. You usually want or need a job, so you give them consent to pull it. And then they pull it and find information on your credit report that is subjective. And then that helps them make their decision if they're going to hire you or not. So if you immediately say, no, you cannot pull my credit, more than likely they will not offer you the job. They want to see what's on your credit report.
Now,
so you have to make a choice.
Yeah, you have to make a choice. Right.
I think it's different depending on, like if you work in the defense, as I have, I've held a top secret clearance, and I think for that part of it, this is not necessarily the employer directly getting into your reports, but you have to give them the consent to determine if you are a credit risk for the purpose of, let's say, if you're in financial straits, you might be more prone to give away secrets to, other countries that are not our friends, because they will give you money in return. So there are cases, but it's not directly from an employer. As you say, they have to have your consent. And that was good that, they do have you, in a desperate situation. A lot of people will probably just say, sure.
Yeah, and a lot of the financial industry, they ask if they can pull your credit, and then if you're in any kind of fiduciary role that you play, they want to pull your credit as well.
Makes sense.
Well, you know what? I think this would be a perfect time, Angie, for you to share what we've kind of been pumping everybody along for, and talk about what it is that you've got going on and what you're offering to those who you invited to watch for something and those that might not be familiar with it. So why don't you share that with us?
Okay. Well, I will share first what I have going on, and that's on the Credit Score Queen fan page, where I give strategies for increasing your credit scores. Right now we have an iPad contest going on. We are giving away 2 iPads, as a matter of fact, so there'll be 2 lucky winners. I want one. Anyone can enter the contest. First, you have to actually like the page, and then once you've liked the page, you would click on the sweepstakes link. And the sweepstakes link is located underneath my profile picture. And then enter your name and your email address, and you are entered into the contest. Now, where it gets really, really juicy is there are 11 different ways to get raffle tickets towards entries into the contest. So the more raffle tickets you get, you are increasing your chances of winning one of those iPads. So to the people that are already participating in the contest, one of those ways was to watch me tonight here on Celebrity Creators, and I have a password that I'm about to reveal. So if you go ahead and enter the contest now, you will hear the password, and what you'll do is email me the password that I'm about to reveal to let me know that you are on watching me, and I will then give you a raffle ticket toward an entry into the contest. So are you ready? Those that are on the show right now listening to me, the password is CSQ Fans Rock. CSQ Fans Rock. Email me at Angie@creditscorequeen.com and tell me what the password is that I just gave you. You can put it in your subject line, but it's Angie with 2 N's, ANNGIE @creditscorequeen.com. Email me that password, and you will immediately get an extra raffle ticket towards an entry into the iPad contest. And the contest ends next Thursday, October 13th.
That's very
awesome.
good point.
And Brian just put the password beautifully under where your name was earlier, so he put that for everybody to see that as well, and the email address too, so everybody got a clear, concise picture. But this is the whole thing. If you didn't catch it, this show is recorded, and Brian will be uploading it after the show, and you can watch it again. And in case you missed anything, and have another opportunity to get the secret password and all of the information to go to Angie's site. But I just want to tell you, Brian knows where I'm going with this. The hour ends so quickly, and we're already here. Can you believe, Angie, we've been on with you for an hour?
No, that went by fast.
I've got to say, our viewers tonight have been over the top.
Awesome.
The questions were phenomenal. It certainly prompted Brian and I to think about some more things to share with Angie. Thank you so much to all the people that watched us. But from Brian and I, Angie, we are so grateful that Donna Lang introduced the three of us so that we would be able to bring you on, not only to share you with the world, but so that Brian and I would be have more information about credit as well, because we're both going to go to myfico.com, I'm sure. But thanks again. We are so glad to have connected with you. We just know this is going to be a long-standing friendship, and I'm going to turn it back over to Brian.
Thanks so much.
And Kathy always puts it so eloquently. Angie, it's been an absolute joy and pleasure to have you on. You've completely surprised me on the positive side. You're so knowledgeable, and this is incredible stuff that you are doing for people that are in need. And God bless you for doing what you do, because we need you. A lot of people out there need someone like you who's done the research, who has gone through the trenches, so to speak, on her own. You're obviously well versed in your craft, and you have a lot to offer a lot of people. We thank you so very much for coming on our show, and for the fact that Kathy and I can now say we have had royalty on our live show. So I want to thank you very much once again for coming on the Celebrity Creator Show.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Kathy. Thank you both for having me.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, with that, we are going to say goodnight. We have a special show coming up, so if you're watching this recorded, this won't mean much to you, but we have one coming up this Thursday, so be sure to register. Click on the link above to find out who's coming on, and you will want to see this one as well. We've got another woman of great knowledge. We've got a lot of women of great knowledge coming on this show, and Angie, you were just like at the top, But with that, we'd like to respect everyone's time. We've gone over just a few minutes, but that's okay, because it's our show. We can do it if we want to. We will see you all again this coming Thursday. Have a great night, all.
Good night.